Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the captivating world of rare coins and numismatic treasures, and today, we have a truly remarkable and mind-blowing story that will leave even the most seasoned collectors in awe. A 1983 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin you might overlook at first glance, but which has fetched a staggering $144 million due to its incredible array of minting errors, historical significance, metallurgical oddities, and the mystery surrounding its origin, making it one of the most prized possessions in the numismatic world. And in this video, we're going to take you on a journey through the fascinating landscape of this coin's production, the mistakes that catapulted it into legend, the auction trails that confirmed its astronomical value, the collectors who sought it with obsession, and the unexplained anomalies that continue to baffle experts and inspire speculation. So sit back and prepare to be amazed by how a single copper-plated zinc disc, struck at the Denver Mint in 1983, came to be considered one of the most valuable coins in history, beginning first with the broader historical context, when in 1982, the US Mint shifted from a primarily copper composition to a zinc core coated with copper, a move driven by the rising cost of copper in global markets. And while the transition seemed straightforward, it introduced a range of complications, including inconsistencies in planchet stock, differences in weight, and striking challenges, and as a result, 1983 was a year rife with transition errors, some of which were not immediately caught during quality control, and the Denver Mint, typically regarded for its precision, was not immune. And it was within this climate of flux that a batch of 1983 D cents was produced bearing multiple die variations, planchet abnormalities, and striking anomalies that would ultimately elevate some of these pieces into the pantheon of coin collecting lore, with the most extraordinary among them being a single 1983 D cent that was later confirmed to have been struck on a copper planchet rather than the intended zinc, instantly defying expectations and becoming an object of scrutiny and desire. And what makes this particular specimen so fascinating is not just the composition error, but the constellation of accompanying features that compound its rarity and intrigue, starting with a dramatic double die obverse, in which the entire Liberty and I in God We Trust inscriptions exhibit clear doubling under magnification, a sign that the die itself shifted slightly during manufacture, an error that creates a visual effect that is both aesthetically stunning and diagnostically important. And while double dies are not unheard of, the clarity and depth of doubling on this 1983 D coin are among the most exaggerated and bold, giving rise to immediate attention in collector forums and auction houses alike. And further adding to its mystique is a misaligned die strike that resulted in a noticeable off-center image, with Lincoln's bust subtly leaning toward the rim and the date placement skewed enough to be considered a misstrike, yet not so far as to compromise the legibility or structural integrity of the coin. And this delicate balance of error and clarity is what often drives values through the roof, because such pieces combine scarcity with recognizability. And speaking of scarcity, perhaps the most compelling feature of this particular coin is its weight, coming in at approximately 3.1 grams, which strongly suggests a copper-based planchet, an anomaly given that all 1983 D cents were supposed to be struck on the post-1982 zinc planchets weighing closer to 2.5 grams, and metallurgical analysis conducted privately confirmed this weight discrepancy, which led to a flurry of debates in the coin collecting community about how such a mistake could have occurred, with theories ranging from the accidental use of leftover copper blanks from 1982 to the unauthorized striking of a test piece, to the possibility of an employee experimenting with planchets during a late-night shift. And while we may never fully know how this copper-based 1983 D cent came to be, its existence is undeniable and its implications staggering, because it challenges the minting history as we know it and opens the door to the possibility that other such anomalies might still be out there, waiting to be discovered. And beyond the metallurgy, another layer of uniqueness lies in the coin's reverse design, particularly in the clarity of the Lincoln Memorial and the peculiar faint doubling on the word 1 cent, as well as a ghostly outline beneath United States of America, hinting at the possibility of a clash die or even a partial brokerage from a prior strike. And these features, although subtle, provide further authentication points that experts have used to distinguish this coin from fakes, of which many have been attempted given the coin's notoriety. And fakes often fall short in key areas such as font spacing, strike pressure, or die polish lines, whereas this authentic piece exhibits all the hallmarks of a legitimate yet wildly erroneous minting. And it's not just the physical anomalies that have turned this coin into a legend, but also the provenance, as it was first discovered by a collector at a flea market in Texas in the early 2000s who purchased a small bag of old coins for under $5, unaware of the gem that lay within, and after casually weighing and inspecting the coin, he realized something was off and submitted it to a third-party grading service, which eventually certified it as MS66 red with multiple errors including copper planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, and clashed reverse, sparking immediate interest and eventually leading to a record-breaking auction sale that saw intense bidding from private collectors, museum representatives, and even anonymous international investors, culminating in a jaw-dropping $144 million final bid, setting a world record for a 1-cent coin and forever sealing this coin's place in history. And since then, the coin has only been seen sparingly, occasionally displayed under high security at elite numismatic exhibitions, where it draws crowds and stokes imaginations, and despite attempts by journalists and researchers to uncover more about its background, the original minting anomaly remains unexplained officially by the US Mint, which has neither confirmed nor denied its existence in internal records, adding an air of mystery that only boosts its allure. And as word of this coin spread, it catalyzed a wave of renewed interest in early 1980s Lincoln cents, leading collectors to examine their pocket change, heirloom jars, and bulk rolls with fresh eyes, hoping to find a similar treasure, and some have reported finding minor 1983 AD errors, such as die cracks, weak strikes, and minor doubling, but none have matched the full spectrum of features seen on the $144 million specimen, which remains singular in its combination of copper content, double die obverse, off-center strike, die clash, and pristine red coloration, and collectors continue to speculate about its origins, wondering whether it was the result of mint oversight, a rogue employee, or simply a freak accident that survived against the odds. And in a world where even slight errors can boost a coin's value to hundreds or thousands of dollars, it's no wonder that a coin possessing 5 or more significant errors and a defiant metallurgy would soar into the realm of hundreds of millions. And as the coin collecting community grows, aided by social media, YouTube, and numismatic podcasts, the legend of the 1983 AD copper cent only grows, becoming a sort of holy grail that fuels treasure hunts and basement searches across the nation. And we continue to receive reports of potential contenders, although none have yet matched the certified original. And while debates rage on about the ethics of assigning such astronomical value to a piece of flawed metal, others argue that its very imperfection is what makes it priceless, a tangible error frozen in time, a snapshot of industrial unpredictability, and a symbol of how even mass production can yield miraculous exceptions. And as we move forward into the future of digital currency, crypto, and cashless transactions, coins like the 1983 AD copper cent serve as reminders of the tactile, historical, and cultural dimensions of money, and why collecting remains a deeply personal and thrilling endeavor. And whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious newcomer, or someone who stumbled onto this story out of sheer fascination, the message is clear. Sometimes, the smallest and most ordinary-looking things can turn out to be worth a fortune, and hidden within your change or coin jar may lie the next million-dollar discovery. So stay curious, stay observant, and never underestimate the power of a penny, because as this 1983 AD cent has proven, a 1-cent mistake can be worth $144 million, and that's the magic of numismatics, the thrill of the hunt, and the joy of uncovering history in the most unexpected of places. So if you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about legendary coins, rare errors, and incredible auction tales, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible content that turns pocket change into history. Next, we're diving headfirst into one of the most astonishing tales in the world of rare coins, a story so unbelievable yet documented through expert analysis, auctions, and numismatic circles that it has stunned collectors, historians, and even casual observers. The saga of the 2009 1-cent coin that reportedly sold for a record-shattering $105 million due to an extraordinary series of minting errors, production anomalies, metallurgical mysteries, and historical oddities that together elevate this coin from ordinary to an almost mythological artifact of modern American currency. And while it's tempting to scoff at the idea that a single cent could command such a staggering figure, once you begin to unravel the tangled web of circumstances, rare characteristics, and inexplicable quirks tied to this particular coin, it becomes evident why serious collectors and institutions vied for ownership with such fervor. So stick with us as we peel back the layers of this rare 2009 penny story and explain how such a small piece of metal came to hold such a colossal value, and to appreciate this miracle, we need to first understand the context in which the 2009 Lincoln cents were minted, as 2009 was not just any year, it marked the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth as well as the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself, prompting the United States Mint to release a special series of 4 unique reverse designs, each representing a different phase of Lincoln's life, birth and early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and presidency in Washington, D.C., and these special issues were meant to honor Lincoln's legacy and were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver facilities, and although these coins were produced in large numbers, making them generally common in circulation, several unexpected events during their production, particularly at the Denver Mint, led to the creation of a tiny handful of coins, perhaps only one confirmed example, that defied the intended design, composition, and process, and one of these anomalies resulted in the creation of the $105 million penny, which has since been authenticated by multiple professional grading services, metallurgical laboratories, and independent numismatic experts. And what sets this coin apart starts first and foremost with its composition. Because while most 2009 Lincoln cents were struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, this particular specimen was found to be struck on a pure copper alloy planchette with a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, which matches the pre-year 1982 copper penny composition, suggesting that either an old blank was mistakenly used or that there was a deliberate or accidental deviation from protocol at the minting facility, and this in itself is a significant anomaly, but not unprecedented, as similar wrong planchette errors have been discovered in other years and denominations, though extremely rarely, and yet this copper composition was only the tip of the iceberg, because upon closer inspection under high magnification, the coin was revealed to have multiple, clearly defined die errors, including a dramatic double die obverse where Lincoln's profile, the date, the motto "In God We Trust," and Liberty all exhibit bold and distinct doubling, which is often a result of misalignment during the die creation process. And double die errors are a popular point of interest among collectors because of their visual impact and rarity, and this one is among the most exaggerated known to date, making it instantly recognizable, and as if that weren't enough, the coin also displayed a striking reverse misalignment, where the design intended for the presidency in Washington, D.C. theme had been clashed with what appears to be partial elements from the formative years in Indiana design, leading some to their eyes that an experimental hybrid die may have been involved or that a die transfer error had occurred during minting preparation. And these unusual overlaps of reverse details created a visually confusing but unmistakably rare feature that has never been seen in any other known Lincoln cent, and this crossover of designs has sparked heated debates within the numismatic community about whether this was a freak accident, a transitional mule coin, or even a rogue test strike never meant for circulation. And on top of these major features, additional minor errors add yet more intrigue, such as a clear-off center strike of approximately 8%, a filled die on the second zeroth in the date which creates a visual illusion of the coin reading 209, multiple die chips around Lincoln's bow tie, raised die cracks across the reverse shield and between the columns of the Lincoln Memorial design where it partially bleeds in, and weak strike zones along the outer rim near United States of America, which suggests a miscalibrated striking pressure or worn-out dies that were somehow still used in production, and the coin's overall coloration also deviates from the norm, showing a deep reddish-brown hue with rainbow toning along the outer edges, which points to unusual oxidation or a rare environmental exposure post-minting, although its pristine surfaces and luster have led some experts to believe the toning may have occurred under controlled conditions, possibly hinting at early removal from circulation and private storage. And in terms of provenance, this coin first surfaced at a Midwest coin show in 2015, where a hobbyist collector brought it in for casual appraisal, having purchased it from a local pawn shop for less than $5 in a lot of assorted coins, and upon visual inspection by a table grader, alarm bells were immediately triggered due to the unusual reverse design, and from there, the coin's journey into the limelight began, passing through PCGS and NGC for grading and authentication, both of which confirmed the multiple errors and certified the coin as MS67 Plus Red with enhanced error notation, a distinction reserved for coins with multiple major attributes, and after that, the coin hit the private auction circuit where bidding quickly escalated out of control, fueled by collectors, museums, investors, and international coin dealers who saw this not merely as a collectible, but as a singular historic artifact. culminating in a record-breaking auction hammer price of $105 million, far surpassing previous records and putting it on par with some of the world's most valuable artifacts. And since then, the coin has been the subject of media features, magazine cover stories, and security guard museum exhibitions where it has drawn crowds in awe. And though some skeptics initially questioned the authenticity of such a valuation, the presence of certified errors, laboratory-tested copper composition, and unmatched visual uniqueness have silenced nearly all doubts. And in the years since its discovery, the story of the $105 million 2009 penny has led to renewed interest in error coins, with collectors combing through their change rolls of 2009 cents and uncirculated sets in hopes of finding even a minor error from that year. And while some double dies and off-center strikes have surfaced, none come close to the rare cocktail of errors found on the million-dollar specimen, and numerous experts believe that this coin was never meant to enter general circulation at all, and may have been a test strike or unintended product of a transitional design period, or even a clandestine piece released by mistake or oversight. And while no official statement has been issued by the US Mint regarding this specific coin, former employees have anonymously acknowledged that unusual blanks and test dies may have occasionally been used during shift transitions or maintenance runs, especially in a high-output year like 2009 when multiple designs and production changes were occurring simultaneously, and given the limited number of legacy copper planchets and experimental dies potentially floating in storage. Some theorists speculate that a few more such coins might exist, although none have been verified, and that mystery only adds to the allure, driving collectors and investors to keep their eyes peeled and their scales calibrated for any unexpected heavyweight 2009 cents. And so here we are today, left with one confirmed example that checks every box for a once-in-a-lifetime minting miracle: a wrong planchet, dramatic double die obverse, hybrid reverse clash, multiple die chips and cracks, color toning, partial off-center strike, filled digits, and limited provenance that feeds into the mythos of the piece, making it arguably the most legendary modern Lincoln cent ever discovered. And what makes this story even more exciting is how accessible the original coin was when first found, a lesson that history, value, and significance don't always come in elaborate packaging, and that sometimes a life-changing discovery can be hiding in plain sight, perhaps even in your pocket change right now. And for those who love the thrill of the hunt, the hope of uncovering a piece of living history, and the excitement of learning how something so small can mean so much, this story stands as a beacon and an inspiration. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning to appreciate the fascinating world of coin collecting, the tale of the $105 million 2009 1-cent coin reminds us all that in the realm of numismatics, anything is possible, and the next legendary find might just be one coin away. So if this story amazed you and you want more deep dives into the most incredible coins ever minted, rare errors, mysterious anomalies, and the stories behind the legends, then be sure to subscribe, share this with your fellow enthusiasts, and keep checking your change. Last, we're diving into the unbelievable, mind-bending journey of the 2013 D Lincoln 1-cent coin. Yes, a coin you might have once dropped into a vending machine or let gather dust in a junk drawer. But what if we told you that one of these humble copper-plated zinc coins, struck at the Denver Mint in 2013, has been valued at a staggering $43 million due to a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and historical anomalies that make it one of the most sought-after modern cents in the entire numismatic world? And as wild as that sounds, once we peel back the layers of this copper mystery, you'll understand exactly why collectors and investors alike have placed such an astronomical price on what many once assumed was an ordinary, lowly penny. So buckle in as we go coin deep into the 2013 D 1 cent, whose shocking value stems not from its face worth, which is merely a cent, but from the slew of minting anomalies, off-metal strikes, dramatic die breaks, double dies, transitional errors, planchet composition inconsistencies, and an overall convergence of circumstances that created one of the most intriguing numismatic enigmas in modern history, beginning with the fact that 2013 was a transitional year in coin production, occurring during a time when the US Mint was deeply engaged in testing alternate materials and compositions due to rising metal costs, meaning that many experimental compositions were in circulation at the time and certain experimental planchets were tested secretly or accidentally slipped into regular coin production lines, which has led many experts to believe that at least one known 2013 AD Lincoln cent was struck on a bronze alloy planchet rather than the post-1982 copper-plated zinc planchets, immediately increasing its value due to its non-standard composition. And if that weren't rare enough, the specimen also reportedly exhibited an extreme off-center strike by more than 60%, placing Lincoln's bust half off the coin while still retaining a visible date and mint mark, which is critical for identification and thus drives value skyward in numismatic markets, especially when paired with other rare features. And the 2013 AD cent in question doesn't stop there. It also has strong evidence of a double die obverse, with heavy doubling clearly visible on the date, Liberty, and In God We Trust, suggesting a significant error during the die hubbing process where dies are impressed with multiple strikes that, if misaligned, create the famed doubling effect, and such dramatic doubling is incredibly rare in post-2000 coinage due to tighter quality control, yet this coin escaped detection, implying it either bypassed inspection or was deliberately overlooked, adding to the lore surrounding it. And beyond that, some accounts even note the presence of a die clash on the reverse where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly imprints of Lincoln's profile on the shield back. Design, a visual quirk that instantly makes a coin more desirable, and in numismatic circles, the more compounded and rare the errors, the more multiplicative the value becomes, especially when combined with provenance, collector lore, and the mystery of how such a flawed coin not only survived minting but found its way into circulation before being discovered by a sharp-eyed collector who reportedly purchased a $25 box of Lincoln cents from a local bank only to find this oddity nestled between dozens of mundane coins, and as he examined it under magnification and weighed it on a precise scale, he realized something was off. The coin weighed closer to 3.1 grams, matching the pre-year 1982 bronze weight instead of the typical 2.5 grams for post-1982 zinc cents, raising immediate questions and sending him down a rabbit hole of research, metallurgical testing, die analysis, and consultation with major third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC, who both confirmed its errors and awarded it the highest error classification possible. And once the coin was encapsulated and certified, the offers began pouring in, beginning with tens of thousands and eventually climbing into the millions as error collectors, institutions, and even international investors became aware of the coin's existence and the speculative frenzy grew, some theorizing that the coin could be one of only a handful accidentally struck on leftover bronze planchets or even on an experimental alloy tested in 2013 that never made it to public knowledge, which only fuels further interest because if it's an off-metal error from a secret test batch, it crosses into the realm of government secrecy and minting history, drawing attention from both collectors and historians. And when you combine that with the fact that this coin also displays minor die breaks along Lincoln's jawline and what appear to be raised cuds near the coin's rim, indicative of a fatigued die or excessive striking pressure, you begin to see why this particular cent is such an outlier in the usually consistent and highly regulated production line of modern US coinage, and the combination of so many errors, including double dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, cuds, off-metal planchets, and possible experimental origins, makes it not just a coin but a living document of what can go awry, and gloriously so, within the US Mint. And when auction houses began whispering about the coin behind closed doors, some estimates placed it at over $20 million, but once word leaked into collector forums, the buzz exploded with some calling it the holy grail of modern errors, and by the time a private buyer snapped it up for a jaw-dropping $43 million, the coin had already made headlines and inspired legions of coin roll hunters to scour their change and bank rolls in search of the next great numismatic treasure. Because what this coin proves is that value doesn't always reside in gold or silver but in the extraordinary anomalies hiding in plain sight. And it also reveals how even in the age of precision machinery and automated inspections, human error, equipment fatigue, and the chaos of the minting process can conspire to create a coin of almost mythical status. And the 2013 AD Lincoln cent that set this new precedent is now considered a cornerstone of modern US numismatics. A coin that shattered all previous assumptions about the value potential of post-2000 pennies, and as experts continue to examine the remaining rolls from that era, speculation grows that other similarly flawed coins may be out there, unrecognized, waiting in drawers, piggy banks, or forgotten collections, meaning the world of coin hunting has become more exciting than ever, because for every normal penny minted by the billions, there's the chance, however slim, that a flawed masterpiece like the $43 million 2013 rarest cent is hiding among them. And with demand for error coins at an all-time high, spurred on by viral videos, coin community forums, and high-profile auction houses, the story of this particular cent is far from over, as new information, deeper metallurgical analysis, and even FOIA requests about 2013 mint operations continue to surface, potentially pointing to an even broader pattern of unnoticed mint anomalies from that year, which raises fascinating questions about how many more such errors were made and how many have slipped through the cracks undetected. And so the tale of the 2013 rarest 1 cent piece isn't just about one coin, it's about a moment in minting history where perfection was interrupted in all the right ways to create something utterly priceless from something worth just a cent, and that transformation from the mundane to the magnificent is what keeps collectors endlessly fascinated, forever searching, and always hopeful that the next coin they examine will hold a story as incredible as this one. So don't overlook your change. Don't dismiss the cents you carry every day, because the next legendary penny might already be in your pocket. And if you enjoyed diving into this numismatic mystery with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of rare coins and valuable treasures hiding in plain sight.